Education Secretary Betsy DeVos has an interesting new idea. She wants the government to buy guns for teachers. Now, according to the New York Times, the Education Department is now eyeing a program in federal education law called the Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant that would allow the Education Secretary, DeVos, to use her discretion to approve any state or district that plans to use grant funding for both firearms and firearm training. Now, thing is, turns out normally this isn't something that's normally allowed or normally done. The department is actually not at liberty to approve federal funds for arming teachers. However, under the specific program, they could use it under the guise of school safety or school improvement. Now, the department, according to Liz Hill, spokeswoman for the Education Department, the department is constantly considering and evaluating policy issues, particularly issues related to school safety. The secretary noted the department issues opinions on hypothetical scenarios. Okay, but you're considering using this very program to arm teachers. That's a bit controversial, so maybe you should at least address that. No, apparently not. We don't issue opinions on hypotheticals. Right. Now, so let me give you some of the details of this program that allow taxpayer money to go to gun manufacturers, right? Or that would allow that. The New York Times explains the $1 billion student support program, part of the Every Student Succeeds Act, is intended for academic and enrichment opportunities in the country's poorest schools and calls for school districts to use the money towards 3 goals: providing a well-rounded education, improving school conditions for learning, and improving the use of technology for digital literacy. Now, how ironic would it be if DeVos uses the money meant for impoverished schools to instead give it to her friends in the gun industry? So this money, again, is supposed to fix up schools, right? Which there's a lot of schools that need a lot of fixing. For example, you have schools in Flint that are falling apart. You've had classrooms without teachers for months. You had things like rats and mold and vermin. Schools falling apart, literally. That money could go to that, right? They could improve school conditions for learning. Well, you can't really learn if you don't have heat. You can't really learn if you don't have air conditioning in 90 to 100 degree weather, which we have certainly had here in Michigan. But instead, what she wants to use that money for is buying guns. No. Let's not fix schools. Let's not improve it. Let's buy guns for the teachers. Now, department officials acknowledged that should the department carry out the proposal, it would appear to be the first time that a federal agency is authorized the purchase of weapons without a congressional mandate, according to people familiar with the discussions. And while no such restrictions exist in federal education law, it could undermine the grant's program adoption of drug and violence prevention, which defines a safe school environment as free of weapons. Well, to be honest, according to Republicans, the only safe school is a school that is chock full of weaponry. Guns for everybody, and then our schools will finally be safe. Let's give guns to the teachers. Let's give guns to the janitors. Let's give guns to everybody. We'll have a safe school. That's preposterous. But here's her justification, and you'll love this. In its research, the Education Department has determined that the gun purchases could fall under improving school conditions, according to people familiar with the department's thinking. Oh no, we're improving conditions by adding weapons, by adding firearms. Yes, that's going to improve my school condition for learning, knowing that my teacher is packing a .44, and if I get out of line, not saying that could happen, but it could happen. Insanity. Or a group of students could overpower a teacher and take the gun. Or the teacher could leave the gun in the bathroom, as has happened before. There's a myriad of other things that could go wrong with this. Insanity. We've lost our minds. Now, Under the current guidelines for that part of the grant, and this is what it's supposed to go to, the department encourages schools to increase access to mental health counseling, good. Establish dropout prevention programs, also good. Reduce suspensions and expulsions and improve reentry programs for students transitioning from the juvenile justice system. Instead of doing that, no, let's buy guns. Let's just buy more guns. They said the department now began exploring whether to expand the use of the support grants after the school shootings in Parkland and Santa Fe, which prompted states to inquire about alternatives. Again, alternatives to what? Alternatives to common sense gun regulation. That's the alternative. They're looking for alternatives to common sense gun regulation. Well, we could just make the teachers buy guns. Yeah, let's arm all the teachers. Nothing bad could ever happen if we introduce more guns into schools. Despite the fact that Parkland had an armed school officer on campus. Again, insanity. Now, the measure would also, sorry about that, let me go to the department officials were considering whether to issue guidance on the funding before the start of the new school year, but have been weighing the political and legal ramifications. The measure would also break from decades-old practice in how funding is doled out for the purposes of school security. So, look, we've lost our minds here in America. If we allow federal funding, this is taxpayer money, by the way, meant to go help students, now go to gun manufacturers. Because again, who's going to make all the money? The weapons manufacturers. This is a taxpayer subsidy to the gun lobby. What have we become? What have we become? This is not what the grant is for. In fact, the student support grant was created from funds from other programs that were collapsed in with the Every Student Succeeds Act that addresses issues like mental health, violence prevention, bullying, and harassment. Now, let me give you more context. That makes this even more maddening. Now, before this consideration to, arm teachers using this program, you had the Trump administration that took something, again, addressing mental illness, health, violence prevention, going after bullying and harassment, and trying to make things better. Not only that, but fixing up poor schools. The Trump administration, in its budget, had twice tried to eliminate the program. Let's get rid of it. We're going to help students? We're going to help students. No. We're going to take that money away. We're going to funnel it to tax cuts for the rich or corporations. However, after Parkland, advocates pointed the program as emblematic of a successful approach to school safety. Congress instead increased the funding by $700 million in the bill passed this year. You know why? Wait a minute. There's a way that private corporations can profit from this. They can make some money off taxpayers. Oh, if Betsy DeVos does this, that's exactly what's going to happen. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? They're going to enrich their friends. Their corporate buddies. That's what this is. If they do this, that's the result. Schools aren't going to be safer. In fact, they're going to end up being more dangerous. Poor schools will still end up going without the resources they need. But don't worry, the gun manufacturers at least, well, they're going to make a lot of money. And pretty much, that's the point. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.